sign, just download it or whatever you need to do. And then you can type in names of people that you know, friends and those, and they will give you contacts, and they'll let you know whether they are voters or non-voters. All right, so it's a way that if you've got a little bit of time or you're watching something on TV or whatever, just look at it. Find some folks that you know, type in their name, and find out if they're voting or not, or if they have a tendency not to vote. It gives you another 4 or 5 people that maybe you could call and just say, hey, you got to get down and vote. And, God, what a crowd. Awesome. And we're seeing this all across the state. Okay? You guys are excited. And we now just need to bring it home. We need to bring it home for Donald Trump, Mike Rogers, the Congressional delegation, State House, and those types of things. And I am really, really bullish on Michigan that we can make it happen. When I took over the state party 6 months ago, the objective was to open up the party and say, you are welcome in. And wow, thank you. Thanks for being here. But the other thing that we have seen, what have we seen over the last 3 months? When we go out and present people with the agenda that we have, with the candidates that we have, and we say, you are welcome to join us to make America great again, what happens? We do it, and they join us. The Muslim community, other ethnic communities are joining us. The black community in Detroit. The Teamsters, they're joining us. Young people are joining us. This is not about winning. This is more than just about winning an election. It is about making America great again. And we've got the agenda and the people that to do it, we're going to be successful. So, my job, I have a tough job now to introduce your next state representative from downriver. We've met a few times before, and I asked her last week when I was down here, I asked her something that is not polite for a gentleman to ask a woman. But I am very impressed that we've got a young woman at that age who is going to be your next state representative. Thanks for all the encouragement that you have
So, who's ready to be unburdened by what has been? For putting this together, and thank Eric Trump for coming downriver. It's not often that we have people come downriver and show us some love, so let's make sure we give him an extremely warm welcome. I also want to give a shout out to a state house candidate, another downriver candidate, Ron Kokinda, who isn't speaking today, but he is here, so Wyandotte, Trenton, Roselle, Riverview, Southgate, and Gibraltar. So really excited to represent you. Obviously, we need to take back the presidency and move our country in the right direction. But unless we pay attention to our more local races, like these state house races across the state, we will not move Michigan in the right direction. And so it is so important that we pay attention to these more local races so that we can elect conservative leaders who will protect our young girls in their sports, restrooms, locker rooms. Support our small businesses, which are the backbone of our downriver communities. Support law enforcement, which, tell them thank you, you haven't already, for being here. And ultimately, just putting our communities first. And so I have incredible news. We are only 2 representatives in the minority here in the Michigan State House, which means if we are able to flip this seat, we can find ourselves in the majority and actually make changes across the state the seat I'm running for is actually one of the most competitive seats in the entire state of Michigan. And if we are to take majority, it will be because we win downriver, we win the 27th district, we make sure we hold on to Jamie Thompson's seat, who I will be introducing in just a second here. Really exciting. So this is a call to action. Make sure, if you have not gone to vote, make sure you make your way to the polls. If you have voted, make sure you talk to your friends and family and make sure we get everyone to the polls so we can not only take back our country, but take back the state of Michigan and make sure that we start working on some common sense policies, which are for some reason not so common all of a sudden. And so we need to bring back common sense. And so I'm asking for your vote. My name is Riley Linting, and I will be on your ballot. So make sure when you go and vote. And you circle the bubble next to my name. So I would really appreciate that. And I will make sure we put downriver first and put money back into our community's pockets. Without further ado, I will introduce to you State Representative from the 28th District, Jamie Thompson.
Job in that recruit right there. She is a young woman that is going somewhere that is a testimony to downriver conservative families with common sense values that want to keep our families thriving. So I am extremely honored and humbled to represent the downriver community because no one across Michigan is like our downriver families. And I hear it all the time when I'm in Lansing. So it's very honorful to be here to speak to you. I represent Taylor, Brownstown, Woodhaven, Rockwood, Flat Rock, and then I do go into Monroe County. I represent Berlin Township and Frenchtown. I do want to introduce 2 of my fabulous colleagues that came all the way downriver. One of them a little further than the other one. We have Representative Jim DeSena, who represents the 21st District. And Representative Matt Bulldog Maddock is here. When I ran in 22, the seat, the 28th House District, was projected to be a +3 Democrat win. They had no idea where I was coming or where I was coming from. And when I came in hard. I fought like hell, and we flipped the seat. Special, because I am just a downriver girl that is a nurse, a grandmother, a Christian, a someone who knows what hard work feels like. We have today a Democrat Party that has left the working family behind, And it's time to stand up and get Donald Trump back in the White House so that we can grow our families. Here's what they forget, right? Here's what they forget. So when I won in 22, they didn't expect that. So now that I'm rerunning in 24, they have California liberals, Washington elites, and all these outside organizations putting millions and millions of dollars in attack ads to get me out. But what they don't know is how strong I am. Number one, my brother. I have lived through some terrible things, as many people downriver have. My brother was killed and shot and murdered in 2008 at 32 years old, 12 times to the chest. My family suffered that loss, and I will stand here today and I will still tell you that I will defend your right to bear arms and protect your Second Amendment rights. Because a gun is an inanimate object. The person that pulled that trigger is the killer, not the gun.
Yeah.
Number two, I made it through. Do you have any nurses out here? If you're a nurse, raise your hand. Okay. I made it through nursing school, raising 3 children, working as a cheerleading coach and a waitress at Downriver Olympic, Coney Island, and Woodhaven. Okay. I'm a nurse. I made it through nursing school. That's not easy. I'm a nurse that when I got to the floor at a 16-hour shift, I walked onto 2 codes, 24 patients, 12 diabetics that were all ACHS, carrying M&Ms in my pocket because I didn't get a break, I didn't get to use the bathroom. Lansing cannot touch that, sweetheart. Lansing can't touch that. Number 3 on why I'm so tough that they can spend all the money they want to throw against my campaign and attack me with every attack they have coming. In 2021, 3 years ago, my beautiful daughter at 24 years old was killed in a motorcycle accident. She left behind 3 innocent babies. My grandchildren were 3, 5, and 7. And like too many dads in this country and in this state, their fathers split. So my husband is raising those 3 beautiful grandchildren who are thriving. With the help and support of my amazing mother, Mary Jo, who's also a fellow nurse. See, because what we don't get is it takes thick skin. And I have lived through so much in my life, and I have worked so hard like many of you, and we have suffered loss and we have suffered tragedy. But just like great communities, Downriver stands together. It works together. Anytime I graduated from Woodhaven High School and I met a friend there, I grew up in Southwest Detroit. My mom moved us to... Thank you. Who's from Southwest? Taylor Ray, welcome too. We moved to Brownstown when I was 15. And I can remember the first girl that I became friends with. I had a Jamie necklace on. Did everyone remember those necklaces we would wear with our names on them, those 90s things? And she said, I like your necklace. That's my name. And I said, oh, thank you. And she goes, you're so nice. And I'm like, yeah? And she said, well, you're from Detroit. I thought you were going to beat me up. But she became my best friend. She became my daughter's godmother. She was there the day my daughter was born, 2 Jamies. I asked her the day Jordan was born to be her godmother, and her and I walked in alone to the funeral home where we had to have a closed casket service for my daughter. And I tell you that because we have those people in our lives that when we need something, we can call them and they will come right away. Those friends, right? So what I need you to do is you need to reach out to those friends because that's how serious this election is for Michigan, for the state house races, totally down ballot. So if you stand with President Donald Trump, if you stand with me, if you stand with Riley Linton, then I am asking you to vote early because every early vote secures the fact that we send a very clear message to the Democrats. We are not messing around. Do not discount downriver ever again. Never. So I have a message for Vice President Kamala Harris. Guess what, sweetheart? The smartest thing you've said this election cycle is we are turning the page, and it's going to be turning the page on you and your failed policies. Silly me, I forgot to introduce an amazing man. I got so excited up here. So my very, very good friend that I have met, Mr. Congressman, U.S. Congressman, Tim Walberg.
Thank you, Jamie. Who's going to stand for Trump? Who's going to stand for Trump? I want to get you exercise. You can sit down now. But when Eric comes, we have to be ready to move. Excitement ought to be here in Michigan. When Eric has come in the past, he's found out that this is the place to be. Because we understand what it is to take on liberals, to take on socialists, in some cases take on communists. We take on evil and we support righteousness and good. So thanks for being here today. I'm privileged to be here today. The last time I was here, I was out on a layout boat hunting ducks, just out here. Well, we're hunting something now, aren't we? We're hunting victory for America. We can't take what's been going on. I'm privileged to be the dean of the Michigan delegation in Congress. It's a great delegation. From Jack Bergman and UP, down to Bill Huizinga, John Molinar, Lisa McLean, John James. And I tell you what, folks, you have a conservative delegation watching out for you and representing you in Washington. We have the opportunity of bringing two more, at least, to our delegation. That'll be a wonderful opportunity to help Donald Trump as President of the United States. One of those, Heather Smiley, running for Congress. Heather? Let me talk this way to you right now. I'm a Christian, conservative, Republican. And they all work, but they all fit together. We are the party now, folks. And I want you to turn to your neighbor right now and whisper, smile, please. You know why I say that? Because if there's a picture taken, it makes a liberal really worried. Why are you smiling? Well, folks, we are smiling because the truth sets us free. We know the truth. We know that America works best when it works according to its foundational principles. And those foundational principles speak of liberty, justice for all. All of it. We know it speaks that all of this puts together for our personal happiness, which means we have the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of our labor, to defend our own families, to choose our own schools. Choice. We're the party of choice. We're the party that doesn't tell parents you can't deal with your kids' lives. We're the party that says if you're going to talk to our kids about transgendering, we're better know about it. Yeah. We're the party that talks about the fact that if we're going to let girls or boys compete in opposite sports, we're going to know about it. And in fact, we're going to say no. Yeah. We're the party that says if you tell us we're going to believe in science, then we're going to believe in X's and Y's, and they work out the same way in all cases. That's what our party talks about. We're a party that believes in personal liberty. We're a party that believes that our borders need to be secure. Why? Because if our borders are secure, even those immigrants who, why wouldn't they want to come to America? But why would they want to come to America if the first thing they're they do is they've been encouraged to break the law to come here. They don't want that in most cases. We don't want it either. We want it secure. We want a country that believes that we stand for freedom of the world around. And we will support our allies. But we expect nothing. And we expect them to do their job as well. I tell you what, if that was the leadership in this country right now, and that was Donald Trump, the war wouldn't be going on in Ukraine. It wouldn't be going on in the Middle East. Israel would know that we are supporting them strongly. And Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran wouldn't be getting the headlines right now. So this is an important election. We must run through the tape with smiles on our faces. And I got to tell you this, and I want you to listen. I don't want to misquote it. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I'm still voting there, I'm sure. But I want you to go out and do what Pete has told you and others have told you. I want you to vote early and often. And what I mean by often is exactly what you've been told. You go vote early. Secure the vote. We got a vote too big for them to rig. And then you go and find a family member who hasn't voted, who's going to vote the right way. Bring them to the polls, have them vote, and then you say to them, now you get somebody else, and I'll go get somebody else. Pretty soon that's early and often, right? That's how you do it legally. That's not cheating. That's America. So today you're here, showing your support for all that makes America great. And you're saying to the rest of the world, to all who are looking on, that we were better 4 years ago than we are now. And we're not going to take it anymore. It's wrong for us to take it. We have to take America back. We have to. And so when we have the opportunity to welcome Eric as he'll come up here, a family member who's fought hard, who's sacrificed with the rest of the Trump family, who have been willing to put it all on the line when they didn't need to, but they loved America too much not to. I want you to make sure that when he mounts this platform, he's lifted by the applause, by the strength, by the emotion of downriver Michiganders and any of the rest of us who have showed up here. God bless us all. Victory for America.
basically going to put Kamala Harris into retirement in 7 days. You know, guys, this is honestly a little sad for me, right? I mean, we've been fighting this war to save the country for the last 10 years. And we're down to under 10 days. And it's I said this last night. Did anybody watch Madison Square Garden? Was anybody impressed? How cool is that? By the way, to go back into the heart of New York, a city that like, you know, my father built. I built so many buildings there. But a city that treated us so poorly. To go in the middle of Madison Square Garden, there were 200,000 people. I was in the car going down the motorcade, right? And literally, I'm just looking at Fifth Avenue, and there's 15 people deep, right? And these people are waving American flags, or they're wearing Trump hats. And by the way, Madison Square Garden's like 40 blocks away from Trump Tower, right? Like, this is probably like 3 miles. On both sides, as far as the eye can see, just people. And then the room, you saw that when we walked out last night, when I walked out on stage, I mean, the place went absolutely crazy. And guys, it's very simple. It's love of country. People, we love this country. This is the greatest political movement in the history of this country by far. And I said last night, right? I mean, there's a lot of politicians, other than her, who's amazing, she's going to win. I saw her signs all over the place. But you know, guys, there's so many politicians in this country that are totally full of crap, right? And I just have to say, and then you look at this, I literally consider everybody in the garden last night. I consider every person in here and every person on the plane who came up and gave me a hug. Guys, this is a family. This is so much bigger than politics. You don't have this in politics, right? You don't have the love. You don't have the kids. You don't have, you know, and we're fighting to save something that we love, and that's this beautiful flag right here. And it's deeply under attack by corrupt individuals. And we all know it. And you know, I think back, I was talking to Kim about this great girl that's about 200 stops with me. Where are you, Kim? Wave. She's in the back somewhere working, but she's incredible. She's been to every stop with me for literally 3 campaigns. And in 2016, we talked about how, you know, we wanted to drain the swamp. But draining the swamp meant, you know, retiring people. Like, you know, Joe Biden's been in office 16 years longer than I've been alive, right? And I'm 41 years old. Think about that, right? So drain the swamp was like throw Nancy Pelosi out of office because she's terrible. Waters. I mean, there's 100 of them, right? I mean, listen, I can go. Who else? Did somebody say Swalwell? Yeah, Swalwell we got to throw out. Oh, well, and you've got a couple of this. You've got Shifty Shift. My father always called him Pencil Neck Adam Schiff. Well, Adam Schiff was the guy who made up the nonsense story about Russian collusion. Everybody remembers this, right? I was the guy that got the call, and I'll never forget this. Eric, I hear you have secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower that communicate directly with the Kremlin. I kid you not. And I remember I got that call from the Washington Post. Go figure it was the Washington Post, right? I mean, it's like very par of the course for these guys. And I go, no, we don't have secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower. We don't keep servers in basements because basements flood, right? And we're like largely like cloud-based computing anyway. Like, who the hell has servers in basements? Well, no, wait. That's a good point. Hers wasn't in a basement. Hers was in a detached garage, right? And then she deleted 33,000 emails, but she was crooked as hell. Everybody knows she's... But guys, think about it. But Schiff was the guy who came up with this whole narrative about Russia. And then, you know, he says that Don, my brother, I'm glad he didn't do this yet, but he said that Don was an agent of Russia. I mean, looking back now, because we're rivals, it's kind of funny, right? Like, oh, look at that. But I mean, they dragged us through absolute hell. So they started by making up dirty dossiers on my father that Hillary Clinton paid for, and then they obviously came up with Russia collusion, Which the FBI, by the way, knew was fake. I mean, day one, they knew that was fake. They knew we didn't have big servers in the basement. That's a pretty easy thing to go check out. They knew there was nothing there. And then they tried to impeach my father, and then they went after Kavanaugh, and then they tried to impeach him again. They made his life miserable. I got subpoenaed 111 times. I'm the most subpoenaed person in the history of this country. This is a guy who's like, listen, I'm no perfect angel, but like, no bad habits. Like Hunter Biden. I promise you, I don't resemble that guy, all right? I've lived a much cleaner life than this individual. So, how the hell do I get 111 subpoenas and Hunter Biden gets like 2? You can search, I'll give any person in this room my laptop. You can search it anytime you want. Yeah. No prostitution, no illicit drugs, no, brothers' wives. No shady energy deals all over the world, I mean. Yeah, he probably went to the Diddy parties, that's 100%. That's funny. But guys, they made our life hell. And when they knew that they were losing, guess what? Then they raided my father's house. They raided Melania's closet. What's out there? Next year, can I please come here and go duck hunting as opposed to being in this penguin suit? But guys, they made my father's life hell. Then they raided his home. They raided Melania's closet. They raided Barron's room. They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado and then Maine. I mean, they pulled him off of Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. We had to develop Truth Social because we had no other way to communicate. And then the mainstream media silenced him. He couldn't go on any of the channels. Even the friendly ones he couldn't go on. And they banned me. And they banned everybody. They wanted to take our voice. And then when that didn't work, they brought him into every far-left district, right? New York City, Washington, D.C., every AG, every DA, Georgia. And they just started the legal lawfare. How do we get Donald Trump? It hasn't worked. The attacks on his company haven't worked. And we weren't able to impeach him. And we weren't able to take out his Supreme Court nominees, and the second impeachment didn't work, and we weren't able to bankrupt him, and the company's still doing great, and we couldn't find anything on his sons or his daughters. So what do? Let's just do legal lawfare. Let's drag it. Let's put him in a courthouse in every single city while the guy should otherwise be campaigning. And then, you know what's really amazing, guys? We walked up on stage last night in the heart of literally, I mean, if you want to talk about ground zero for the war against my father, New York City, which is a city he built. Yeah. We have thousands of employees in New York. These are engineers and housekeepers and great maintenance guys. And he built this city, and so much of that city was based on Donald Trump, and yet we walk in yesterday, despite all the legal lawfare, and you see the love. You see the love. And you realize, guys, it's not New York, right? It's not Chicago. It's not a lot of these kind of far left places. It's not us against them. It's really us against the swamp and truly bad people. Truly bad people, right? These people have, and most of them have never had a job in their life. They go to Washington, D.C., and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They've never... Tucker Carlson had a great little monologue. I'm not sure if anybody saw it last night, but... He's a great friend. But he asked a simple question, what skill set does she pose? What skill set? What skill set does she pose? I know the skill set she poses. She destroyed California. So San Francisco, we have property. San Francisco was one of the greatest cities, anywhere in the country. Who's this guy now? You think Kamala has that kind of love? By the way, that's a seriously big boat to paint in camouflage, and that's like the greatest American flag I've ever seen. Now that person has skill set. That person has skill set, right? But how in the world, the greatest country in the world, do we have a candidate who literally possesses no skill set? Think about that, right? A person who's been in government their entire adult lives, and a person who single-handedly ruined one of the greatest cities on earth, which is San Francisco. You can't afford to live there. You walk over drugs everywhere you go in the city. Every business, every bank has moved out of San Francisco, right? They're no longer there. Elon pulled all his companies out of there. Right, you can't do business there. She destroyed San Francisco. You have 10 cities all over the place. You have homelessness that's absolutely rampant. And you know the only time that they cleaned it up? When Xi came in from China. So they don't give a damn about you, the people who live in this country, the people who live in that city, but you have a foreign leader come in and say, hey, let's just tell them to get their acts together for a short period of time until they leave town. Tell me it's not like the greatest act of disrespect. And guys, that's why this country's pissed off. My father is like the one guy, he's the one freaking guy who didn't need this job. The last thing my father needed was this job. I can't tell you, there's probably no one closer in his life than me, and I'd be sitting at these tables, right? And he'd be reading a paper. Education in the United States is ranked 30th in the world. How the hell are we 30th in the world in terms of education? We're the United States of America, right? How? And then you'd be reading another article where, it's 70% of fighter planes are incapable of taking off. So many are grounded because they've run out of parts. How do they let our military get to this point? Right? And then they talk about veterans, and there's so many great veterans, I'm sure, in here. Raise your hand. We love you guys. We love you. We love you. When you hear these stories, people 6 months to try and get into the VA. How the hell does it take 6 months to get in the VA? This is the United States of America. This isn't a socialist country as much as she wants to turn it into. No, we're the United States of America. That's when he came up with that private option. But he's sitting there saying, how broken does the system need to be? We gave $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America. Have we lost our damn minds? Yeah. That was a rhetorical question. Of course we've lost our freaking minds. But guys, so here's this, like the most unconventional guy, a billionaire from Fifth Avenue, who thought it was so grotesque, who would look at these people as they mock the flyover states. Right? Do you remember Hillary would always talk about the flyover states? It was anything in between, effectively, New York and California that they just gave the big middle finger to. And he's saying that the greatest people in the world are in those flyover states. The greatest people, the heartbone of this country, are all the places that these people are totally forgetting. Now you know they're forgetting them. It's every time we go to an event, we half the time we did in factories, and those factories are closed. And there's a chain link fence. There's plenty right here. There's a chain link fence surrounding it. And to a developer, and that's what I've kind of done my whole life, like I've always built, like I find great beauty in those buildings, right? Like the brick and the grit, and it's everything like about like American ingenuity, going back, and it's like, we built a world. I mean, America built the world. And then you had these incompetent politicians that stripped it all away, and largely because they were lining their own pockets, sent it to China and Vietnam and Mexico, half because of their own greed, and then probably half because of their damn incompetence. And then every day I get to hear these stories Well, we believe in free trade. What they've been doing, guys, for 20 years is not free trade. When you can't take a Ford car from here and send it over to China without paying 100% tariff, when my father suggests that we tariff China, don't tell me that we're not abiding by free trade. They've been screwing us. They've been ripping us off, guys, for so long. And no one cares. No one has any fire in their voice. No one gives a damn. Man, it pisses me off because it's so easy. This isn't hard. Having common sense isn't hard. Doing the right thing isn't hard. And at every turn they do the wrong thing at every single turn. Right? They are. So John here, right? We do it. Obviously, we're in the golf business, right? We've done a lot of business with John Deere over the years. That beautiful green, the beautiful yellow, right? Everybody, John Deere's like an iconic symbol of this country. They announced a couple weeks ago, we're going to open 2 plants in Mexico. And when I mean Mexico, if this is like the U.S.-Mexico line, it's literally where she's sitting, right? And that's where they... So they go in there, they effectively use slave labor, right? The labor that's effectively free for them. They fire all the people in states like this. They go across a little invisible line. Their tractors are so big they have to go on trains everywhere they go anyway. So they load them up in Mexico. Mexico doesn't stop them. They let them build their plants. They don't drown them down with taxes and regulations. They go over there, they build up the product for 50 cents on the dollar. They send it across a little invisible line. And congratulations, you just bankrupted thousands and thousands of people. You destroyed towns, you destroyed factories, you destroyed communities, you destroyed churches, you create substance abuse problems, you create family problems. Good luck going to Disneyland ever again. Good luck supporting that little local bakery or pizzeria. Good luck trying to buy that new car. And the people in Washington, D.C. do this as like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. There's free trade. And my father looks at this and says, have we lost our damn minds? Try and send a Harley Davidson over to China. Right? Why is it that all of their boats go from China into the United States? And you effectively have the water going over the gunnels of the boat because they're so damn heavy. And then as they're going back to China, you can see the props halfway out of the water because they're so buoyant because there's nothing on them. And yet we can make stuff better than anybody in the world. No one can rival us. No one. And so guys, it should all be made in the United States. It should all be made. And we're such a better society. We're such a better society in every way, right? In terms of our freedoms, in terms of this expression, as much as it's under attack. Look at the UK back in the day, right? They're very monolithic, way of thought pattern over there. Their whole society was created around the railroad, and so every weekend at 10 o'clock in the morning. Everybody would go to a little train station, then they'd all get on a train, they would go to point B, they'd all get off the train station. All of America surrounded what you guys do in Michigan, right? That's the automobile, where gay people, if somebody was into jazz, right? They could go down the street, they could go to some bar, they could go watch the best performers in the world. If somebody was a duck hunter, they could take their freaking car, they could go 10 miles north, right? It gave us individuality as a society. Right, and that's the beauty of America. It's one of the reasons we put men on the moon. It's one of the reasons we've led every advance. It's one of the reasons we were the best in medicine and entrepreneurship and just capitalism, right? It allowed people to just go off on different paths, whereas so many other societies, so many of these communist countries were so monolithic. Everybody had to walk a certain way. Everybody had to speak a certain way. Everybody had to look, and it shut that down. No one can compete with the United States of America. No one. If they just get the hell out of our way. So guys, that's what we're fighting for, right? And in fact, it's kind of odd. You're actually kind of fighting for so many kids that are younger. I mean, there's some young people here. You know, I look at my 2 young kids, and I'm saying that they don't have a chance. I mean, you've got wars breaking out all over the world. We've given $200 billion. The thing that probably pisses me off the most, and my father, we've given $200 billion so you can watch kids that look identical to one another. I can literally look down at my son, and I'm just seeing him in 10 years, right? And you look over at Ukraine and Russia, and you've got these kids that look identical to one another. And I know how much time and effort I put into that little boy, and he's 7. Let alone what you put into a kid that's 20. The hours of education and feeding and school and timeouts and discipline and hugging and snuggling and wrestling and everything else that you do to develop like an unbelievable 21-year-old beautiful kid that's got unlimited potential. Right? And they come across, you watch it, you pop up YouTube every night, and they come around a little corner in a trench, they all shoot each other in the face, they don't even know what the hell they're fighting for. And guys, we're paying for this crap. We're paying for this crap. $200 billion. While you have deserted factories here, while half the communities in this country have cell phone service that sucks, while our educational system in the country is ranked 30th in the world, wrong with our priorities? And it's not our priorities. It's the furthest thing from our priorities. What's wrong with our priorities? I mean, why can't we do what Donald Trump? And the answer will be we will. But why can't we do what Donald Trump did the first time? The greatest economy in the world, the lowest unemployment. No more illegal immigrants coming across the southern border unchecked. No more drugs killing our children. There are 320,000 kids. 320,000 kids that died of fentanyl last year. No more. Peace around the world. Have America win at everything we do. We're going to fight the censorship. We're going to fight the censorship because you've all been censored. I've been censored. Everybody in here has been censored. We're going to bring faith back to our communities and our families because, guys, God is under attack in this country. God is under attack, and just religion is under attack in this country. We're going to protect the Second Amendment, something that I care so deeply about. We don't have a First Amendment without a Second Amendment, so keep your guns and keep buying ammo, guys. Buy a lot of ammo. Buy a lot of ammo. It's so easy. It's so easy, guys. And that's what you're going to get under a second term of Donald Trump. It's what you're going to get. And it's even better. It's going to be even better. You know why it's going to be even better? Because he knows who these people are. And by the way, so do I. If somebody goes, listen, they put you through absolute hell. Are you worried about the next 4 years? And I just start laughing. I go, not at all. And they go, why not? That seems like so cavalier. I go, because I know their freaking game plan better than they know it. I can see it coming from a mile away. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do. And you know what? No, you will. You will. I always say my father's greatest accomplishment is he is the greatest rhino hunter in the history of the world, right? Another reason we need her. She'll have spine and backbone. She'll hand it to all the guys in Washington, D.C., which I'm thrilled about. But guys, honestly, I joke that I look forward to that first night. He gets into office. I leave Washington, D.C. Laura hopefully retires from the RNC, having had an unbelievable victory. And I go home, and I literally put on a pair of shorts, and I pop the popcorn as I watch him just go into office that first day. And just kick ass, guys. Just kick ass. ones, he knows the really smart ones, he knows how they're going to attack him, and he'll do it. We'll have the greatest economy ever. We'll have the lowest oil prices ever. I mean, how in the world? We have more... Oh, baby, are we going to drill, I promise you. I mean, only this current administration, it's perfectly fine for Hunter Biden to sit on the board of a natural gas company. But yet they try and ban natural gas in America. I'm trying to figure that out. So it's okay for your son to advocate for fossil fuels in Ukraine when you're making $80,000 a month. It is bullshit. He doesn't even speak the language. Like, he knows nothing about the industry. He doesn't speak the... But it's okay for Hunter Biden and the Biden family to advocate for fossil fuels in Ukraine. But don't think about doing that in Pennsylvania or Texas when entire industries, i.e. like all of Michigan, is dependent on fossil fuels, of which we have the most in the world, we have the best in the world, and it's free to the United States of America. But instead, let's go beg China for lithium, for batteries, for cars that people don't otherwise want. Guys, it's crazy. I have a good friend who's a Ford dealer. He owns a bunch of Ford dealerships. And he goes, we can't give away the electric cars. And God bless, by the way, I'm one of these people that stay out of my life. If I want an electric car, which I'll never have one. But if somebody wants an electric car, go buy an electric car. Like, I'm all for that. It serves a purpose for certain people who might not be traveling far and, want something to touch around town. But I just don't understand this. They go out and they say to Ford, hey, we're going to penalize you if you don't hit a certain mandate of electric car. So then they go out to all the dealers, my friend being one of them, and they say, hey, we need you to buy more electric cars. He goes, I'm not going to buy any more electric cars because I have 300 electric cars in inventory and no one wants them. And they go, please buy electric cars. He goes, I don't want them. I can't sell them. Don't send me more electric cars. When these go, I'll buy a couple more electric cars. But right now they're just sitting here literally, decaying on our lots. So then, I agree, right? It's like 5%, fine. For those 5%, fantastic. Go live your life, do your own thing. But it's like 5% of people want electric cars. So then they're not willing to buy any more cars. So then you have the administration going back saying, you're not meeting your mandate. And they're saying, no, we're not meeting our mandate. The reason we're not meeting our mandate is because the people aren't buying them. By the way, if they were buying them, we'd make more of them. It's called basic concept of supply and demand, right? A child can understand this. And so what do they say? They come out and say, okay, well, fine. We're going to fine you. And the fines are like $50,000 a vehicle that they miss on their quotas. Guys, they're destroying our auto industry. And no one, other than my father, no one's talking about it. I mean, how can you penalize a car company because people, consumers, aren't buying their product because they don't buy into it for whatever reason, and therefore you're going to penalize a company? I mean, it's so nonsensical. But that's what you get with Joe Biden, right? It's insanity. Everybody knows it's fact, but it's not that. But guys, there is so much dark money behind that. There's only one person that's benefiting from this whole thing, and this is China. This is China. Who's making the batteries? Who has the lithium? Who has the semiconductors? Who has all the circuitry? No kidding. By the way, they're also stealing all of our IP. You better believe that they have the spies, and they're willing to play that game while we sit there debating whether or not 6'5" men should swim in women's sports. We are so off the rocker. We don't prioritize. I mean, I almost think of this country as a country that has this massive hole in the roof, right? And that's the immigration, that's drugs, that's obviously our economy. Everything in this country is unaffordable. Everything, right? I mean, wages have been stagnant, but yet you've had, anybody that tells me that inflation is 6% is just full of it. I run a company, it's not. It's so much worse than that. But so say you have compounding 9%. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Compounding 9% inflation. while you have wage growth staying stagnant. Guys, that's like 40% versus this. I mean, what do you think's happening? People are just getting absolutely crammed down in this country. They're getting totally bamboozled, right? So you've got this big hole in the ceiling. And what are they worried about? They're worried about literally letting men swim in women's sports, right? You know, how to label bathroom signage. You know, where, it's one of the reasons I left New York, but I mean, talk about the great white hunter, by the way. I mean, because I've done a lot of competitive shooting. It's kind of like what I do, right? It's like my version of golf. And I saw that guy pick up a gun for the first time and go, ooh, this could be ugly. Oh, so all the shooters in here, you know when you can tell. You know when you're really proficient at something and you just see somebody doing it? Does anybody run like an excavator here, like a backhoe? Is anybody really good on like heavy machinery? Anybody in here? Alright, that person back there. Yeah, you know when somebody goes in there and they just, like, you know, the bucket's not going the right way, you just know that they've never actually done it before. Like, that's what Tim Walsh was with the shotgun, right? But think about this. His greatest accomplishment was tampons and boys' bathrooms. And then he came out with a statement. Well, then defund the police. And by the way, we've got the greatest law enforcement officers in the world, in this country, and we will protect them. And the other totally disqualified. I mean, this is just, he comes out, my father, you know, obviously the wall's 25 feet tall, right? And he comes out and says, if Donald Trump builds a 25-foot tall wall, I'm going to build a ladder factory in Mexico to build 30-foot tall ladders so that all the illegal immigrants... What is it with them wanting people to come into this country who... Well, it's more than that. It's actually more than that. It's two things. They want them to vote and they want to change the census, right? Because it's not just citizens that count for the U.S. Census. And that means that they can pick up congressional seats, which means that she has more opposition on the other end because they'll just pick up congressional seats in very, very dark blue areas, and then anything with any common sense they won't allow to pass, right? They'll own a branch of government. So it's exactly what they're doing. But I love this, right? So she comes out, obviously, and, you know, in the debate, you know, and then since you saw the Brett Baer interview, I'm sure so many people saw that. Oh yes, we're going to take illegal immigration very, very seriously. They flew 320,000 illegal immigrants into cities all across the country and landed them at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you mean to tell me they're going to take illegal immigration seriously? No, they're not. No, they're not. You know how much it costs? Like, these are like 737, 757s. These are big planes. These are big Boeings. These things cost like 10 grand an hour to operate, right? I mean, they're really expensive to operate. Think of like a 737 can hold like 170 people, 160 people. Think about how many plane trips that is to transport 320,000. Guess who's paying for it? You! All of us. All of us, right? And then she comes up, yes, I'm the only person on this stage to go after transnational criminals. First of all, give me a break, because California went to hell under her watch, right? So she clearly did do a good job. But yes, we take it very, very seriously. Oh, really? So my father built 600 miles of wall, right? He built another like 200-300 miles of the slack. So all they had to do is just use a good equipment operator like you and just pick it up and drop it in, right? They sold the wall off for scrap metal to the lowest bidder. Texas actually, Abbott, who's a great governor, but Abbott and the lieutenant governor of Texas actually said to them, they go, you know, we'll take the steel and we'll just finish the wall. Just give us the steel that's in Texas and we'll finish the Texan portion of the wall. It won't cost you anything. And remember, all these contracts were already paid for, so the contractors like killed it, right? I mean, they're able to build half the wall and walk away with no more labor. They got the entire price of the whole contract, but Abbott said, just give me the steel, I'll take care of it. Texas will pay for it, right? We'll step up, we'll pay for it, we'll get the wall done. The federal government refused to give them the steel. And then I get to hear her come out and say, yes, we absolutely take border security very seriously, very seriously. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. And you know what's even more infuriating? Raise your hand if you know somebody who's died of either fentanyl or some hard drug. Guys, it's like all of us. I know 4. I have 4 friends that have lost kids to fentanyl poisoning. You have police agencies in this country right now. These guys aren't allowed to nod, but I know they agree. You have police agencies in this country that are running out of Narcan. That's how much the fentanyl problem has destroyed our country. And we're doing nothing about it. And guys, there are people out there. There are countries out there that want that, right? I mean, how do you destroy society? Guess what? You take out the youth, right? You make them dependent on something. It probably means that one of the parents has to quit their job, quit the workforce, take care of the person. The emotional distress on a family, the emotional distress on siblings, right? I mean, the whole family unit and what it does to a community, what it does to caregiving, to hospitals, to law enforcement. I mean, guys, you know, they're not sending that over here because, like, they think it's like, they're sending it over here to erode our society, and we don't do a damn thing about it. You have a president that's sleeping on a beach. You have a vice president that literally didn't do an interview for 46 days. Can you imagine if she had to do what I'm doing right now? And guys, I want nothing to do with politics other than seeing the greatest president reelected again. I can't imagine right now she's happy. I mean, the Hispanic vote, the Muslim community, the Chaldean community, the Catholic community, the evangelicals in this country, the Hispanics, the auto workers, the union workers. I love the Amish. These are just nice guys who just want to be left the hell alone, right? Like, it's not like me, I just want to be left the hell alone, right? All of us, we just want to be left alone. Get government out of our lives. But guys, I'm so proud of him. Honestly, I'm so proud of him. Here's what I'll tell you. I love him to death. He's literally like ace of my best. I mean, the guy is incredible. I mean, the guy doesn't stop. I mean, the guy just doesn't stop. Listen, I know a lot of guys would be considered peers to him, and guys, they would have folded in 30 seconds. If they could have made it through the first day of Washington, D.C. before they folded like a cheap suit. And I don't care how many times they impeach him. I don't care how many freaking days I've spent in a courthouse with him, sitting there. And by the way, we're doing awfully well on those cases, so like that. He'll leave a crazy cold courtroom after sitting in this miserable, corrupt system and watching this. And he'll leave and he'll literally fly to Pennsylvania or Michigan and do a rally. I mean, I've never seen the fortitude of a guy like this, man. You want to talk about a guy who just doesn't give up, doesn't give in. He's the only. Somebody's got to tell me who this guy is, because I got to send him like a signed Trump hat or something along those lines. He's out there all by himself, honking his horn in pitch black. I freaking love this guy. But the guy is just a remarkable guy. I mean, the guy is just a remarkable guy. He's the greatest father. He's the greatest grandfather. He's an absolute warrior. I mean, you want to talk about a warrior. The guy is an absolute warrior. And he is the guy who is going to save Michigan. He is the guy that's going to save the auto workers. And he's the guy that's going to save the United States of America. justification. All of them. All of them. By the way, after last night, I think we might win New York, honestly. But guys, we need to make it too big to rate. We need to make it. We know the games that these people play. You're seeing one of the games that they're playing in Pennsylvania right now. My wife fights it every day. We need to make it too big to rate. And honestly, I asked you as like a personal favor to me, get everyone out. And I'm not like, I hate when, like, I'm not sure if I've ever actually said this in a speech. Go out and vote. Like, I hate it, right? It's not, this movement's so much bigger than having to tell people like you to go out and vote. But if we steamroll them, which I know we will, and I know we can, it's going to be like the greatest validation to all the BS that they've put us through. And the American people, all of us, this family that I started with, the American family, this family we have, standing up and finally saying, it's enough. It's enough. And as a country, we're going to get back to business. So guys, my father, Don, Laura, myself, saw Melania last night. There in his own little cute way. Guys, I can tell you, I'm going to spend every single second of every single minute over the next 7 days. I'm going to fight. He is going to fight. We're never going to take our foot off this pedal. And we're going to restore the greatness of the greatest country. And I love you. And I appreciate you. Vote for this incredible future Congresswoman. Who's amazing. And Michigan, we're going to make Michigan great again. We're going to make the United States of America great again.